Every day, the weight of doubt sits heavy on your shoulders, the crushing question gnawing at your resolve, whispering in countless boardrooms, echoing through every investor meeting. Is private equity just legalized corporate piracy? Does this world of high stakes, big money, and aggressive takeovers really crown itself as a noble game? Or is it just another mask for ruthless, exploitative greed? That gnawing pain isn't irrational. It's real. For every leader juggling growth targets under impossible pressure, for every investor staring at the numbers and wondering if the cost is worth the gain, for every manager caught in the crossfire between profit and purpose, this question bleeds into every waking thought. Because this isn't just a financial puzzle, it's an existential one. The silence around it feels like a trap. It's easy to feel like you're pawns in a skewed game where the rules are written to favor the colossal funds and faceless institutions that swoop in, strip companies to their bones, slash headcount, pump profits, and vanish before the fallout hits. The nightmare of corporate greed plays out in headlines daily, making it impossible to ignore the stories of communities shattered, businesses hollowed out, dreams crushed beneath relentless cost-cutting. Does the world of private equity truly hold a license to operate like modern pirates? Legal raiders who prioritize rapid returns over legacy, loyalty, or the human beings behind the balance sheets. But pause for a moment. Don't let frustration paralyze you. Because underneath this debate, there is a deeper reality, a pattern many overlook. Private equity, when done right, is not a predator lurking on the fringes of capitalism. It is a radical force for profound change. It's a tool, a lever to break free of stagnant systems that reward mediocrity and crush brilliance. It is a brutal, unforgiving crucible that, if wielded with vision and courage, forges businesses fit to last in a world that refuses to wait. The pain you feel? It's the unmistakable sign that the status quo is broken. It will not fix itself. It must be torn down, rebuilt, and reimagined. And you are not powerless in this. Not by a long shot. Here's the hard truth nobody wants to say out loud. The world doesn't reward softness. It doesn't honor empathy lightly. The same systems that claim to champion fairness and innovation instead encourage short-term thinking and blind obedience. This means every leader, every investor, every innovator operating within the realm of private equity is walking a razor's edge between destruction and creation. The pain you're feeling, ethical dilemmas, pressures to cut deeper, fears of being branded a villain, those are the challenges distinguishing the timid from the transformative. What if the real shame is not ruthlessness itself, but cowardice disguised as morality? What if to truly change the game, you must embrace discomfort, reject easy answers, and stare unflinchingly into the chaos others run from? It's what separates those who burn out from those who burn bright. The righteous anger you harbor? Channel it. Let it fuel a commitment to exceed the tired narratives that paint your work as villainy. See beyond the caricatures that reduce complex decisions to simple morality plays. This business is brutal because the world is brutal. The companies failing under old paradigms don't get forgiveness. They die. The workers and communities affected deserve better, absolutely. But ignoring systemic rot, because it is uncomfortable, means you endanger the very future you claim to protect. Here lies your secret weapon, your way out of the trap. Private equity can be a catalyst for liberation, a chance to release companies and people trapped in outdated, suffocating systems that reward stasis and punish brilliance. Think of this not as piracy, but as rescue missions. When done with integrity and vision, buying a company is grabbing it from the jaws of slow death, pushing through the noise of complacency, and planting a flag for purposeful renewal. You're handed a wreck, yes, but also a seed, a chance to redefine entire industries, shift cultures, and inject fresh vitality into markets desperate for innovation. This is not charity. This is radical transformation. But here's what no one tells you outright. To make this true, you must hate mediocrity with ferocity. Not because it's convenient, but because it's deadly. Mediocrity is the slow death of progress. It's the carefully maintained illusion keeping entire companies locked in cycles of uninspired performance masked as stability. Those safe bets are the greatest threat to evolution. Private equity offers a shock, sometimes brutal, sometimes necessary, that forces clarity, focus, and ruthlessness in pursuit of real value. This is not a game for the faint-hearted or the compliant. It demands leaders who reject borrowed lives, who scorn the rules handed down by systems designed to protect the comfortable, and who dare to embrace the relentless challenge of reinventing the status quo. If you want to step beyond the shadows of this criticism, you must lean hard into this rebellious aspect. Stop apologizing for being aggressive. Instead, be aggressive with purpose. Bring humanity to your deals by connecting fiercely with your leadership teams, by honoring the unique stories baked into the companies, by building cultures built on respect and relentless drive for excellence. Stop settling for short-term fixes that lead to hollow victories. Push for sustainable growth models that empower innovation, foster accountability, and invest deeply in talent development. This kind of precision and care is not weakness. It is leadership distilled into its most effective form. To those who feel isolated, misunderstood, or haunted by questions of whether they're part of a predatory system or a redemptive force, this pain you carry can become your compass. Isolation is the cost of greatness. The system isn't designed for you. That's precisely why you have to build your own infrastructure, connect with the few who burn with a similar fire, and craft an alliance against mediocrity and complacency. True power isn't found in the crowd. It's found in the rare, the exceptional, the misfit minds willing to challenge consensus and bear the discomfort of forging new paths. This is your call to align with others who see beyond fear-based narratives and who wield private equity as a weapon for transformation, not destruction. Imagine a world where the label of private equity no longer strikes terror, but sparks hope, where leaders don't dodge ethical dilemmas, but face them with honesty and fierce commitment to do better, where investors don't just chase profits, but actively shape companies that redefine industries, uplift communities, and pioneer sustainability in every form. This isn't a fairy tale. It's the future screaming to be created by those brave enough to revolt against the lazy accusations and outdated rules, rewriting what it means to wield capital well. Every single deal, every investment, every strategic decision is a crossroads. You can choose the easy path, short-sighted, profit-driven, and ultimately hollow. Or you can choose the road labeled hard, uncharted, but laced with disruptive potential to build legacies that matter. Do not let the world's illusions trap you into silence or cynicism. The power lies in breaking free from comfort, status quo, complacency, and being the rare one who sees private equity not as a legalized piracy, but as a legalized redemption. This isn't about whitewashing a dark history. It's about facing that history head-on, with clear eyes, burning hearts, and a revolution of thought and action that gives private equity a new soul. The world needs leaders and investors who refuse to sit quietly while mediocrity wins, who refuse to trade ethics for excuses, who see every acquisition not as a raid, but as a rebuilding, who understand that the mundane structures we inherited are not permanent. They were made by flawed humans, just like you, and they can be reshaped by those who dare to be more. So take this as a challenge and a promise. Your pain is the seed of revolution. Your doubts are the sparks of clarity. Your courage to ask the hard questions is the weapon that will break chains and build new realities. Refuse to settle for the tired story of private equity as plunder. Instead, become the agent of brutal, necessary change. Forge companies that defy expectations. Create futures where industry, humanity, and profit coexist. Not by accident, but by design. This is the battle and the blessing at the core of private equity today. Not piracy, but a fierce, unyielding chance to turn pain into power, to take control, and to prove that freedom isn't a promise someone else grants. It is a fire you carry and strike to change everything. The world is waiting for those few who burn too fiercely to be ignored. Tie your will to that flame. The era of passive acceptance is over. The time to become is here.